The Arctic, the last frontier. The Arctic is defined as 66 degrees and 34 minutes north of the equator. The northernmost part of the planet is characterized by its extreme cold and ice-covered landscapes. It has a very diverse and unique ecosystem with animals like beluga whale, the harp seal, Arctic fox, the Arctic owl, Arctic wolf, and polar bears. The term Arctic Circle was first used by astronomers in the 1550s and later adopted by geographers in the 1620s, based on the Ursa constellation. The northernmost countries of the world are part of the Arctic Council. The Arctic Council has 8 member states: Russia, Finland, Denmark, Iceland, Norway, Sweden, Canada, and the USA are parts of this council to ensure cooperation in scientific and technological advancements between the countries and the Arctic populace. The Arctic Council does not deal with military or security issues. Instead, it focuses on climate change and environmental protection, sustainable development, scientific research, and biodiversity conservation. There are also widespread concerns about the ecological impacts of drilling and mining Arctic oil and minerals, as breakdown of the Arctic ecosystem can be irreparable for the world. The Arctic is home to over 4 million people, among which there are over 40 different ethnic or indigenous groups, making up 10% of the population. These indigenous groups are also permanent participants in the Arctic Council. The indigenous people of the Arctic have lived in the region for thousands of years, adapting to extreme cold, long winters, and limited natural resources. They have developed unique survival strategies, cultural traditions, and economies while facing modern challenges. Even with organizations like the Arctic Council to foster cooperation, the ownership of the Arctic lands is still highly contested amongst the states that surround it, with countries like Russia and USA asking for majority ownership over the land, as the economic and military perspectives directly tied to this land is immense. With the melting glaciers, it creates new roads for economic trade routes and also creates security issues for countries who are reliant on the ice as a military tactic. In addition to trade routes, the Arctic is also abundant in natural resources like oil and natural gas reserves. It also contains rare earth minerals that are used in high-tech industries. Due to the Arctic's rising importance in the world economy and changing Arctic landscapes, creating security concerns, the Arctic countries are bolstering military presence in the area. Climate change is affecting the Arctic more rapidly than any other region, with the warming occurring up to 4 times faster than the global average. This has immense environmental and economic consequences. The rise in global temperature has resulted in a sharp decline in sea ice, with melting glaciers and melting ice sheets. There is also the concern of permafrost thawing. The Arctic permafrost is a layer of permanently frozen soil, rock, or sediment found in the Arctic. It is made up of soil, gravel, and organic material held together by ice. This ice holds massive amounts of carbon, twice as much as available in the atmosphere, and also methane, which when released into the climate will make climate change much worse. Arctic animals are experiencing severe threats due to climate change as their natural ice-covered environments are rapidly disappearing. Arctic animals are now facing declining food sources, leading to starvation and disruption in migration patterns. Among these Arctic animals, the walrus is facing the loss of ice the most severely as they are losing the places to rest between their hunting dives. The loss of these resting platforms have resulted in them congregating in one piece of land, leading to deadly stampedes and death. The Arctic region is also a pioneer in green technology, as many initiatives are being taken for carbon negative energy production. This is one of the world's northernmost solar parks, which is an off-grid energy source which produces massive amounts of electricity during the summer months, powering neighboring societies and communities. As the Arctic continues to warm at nearly 4 times the global average, the region stands at the crossroads of environmental crisis and geopolitical transformation. What was once an isolated, ice-covered expanse is now a strategic frontier where nations compete for resources, influence, and security. The future of the Arctic is not just a regional issue, it is a global one. The choices made today will shape not only the fate of this fragile ecosystem, but also the balance of power and cooperation for decades to come. Will the Arctic be the battleground for competition or the model for international collaboration? The answer depends on how the world responds to the challenge of climate change and whether diplomacy can navigate the thin ice of Arctic geopolitics. The Arctic story is still being written, and in this rapidly changing landscape, one thing is certain: what happens in the Arctic will not stay in it.